Hi, Mrs. Annie. How are you today?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm doing well. How are you, Sola? How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay.
Okay, to our viewers today, you're welcome to Successful Living Show. It's time to talk. Today, again, we have a host that will be taking us down a journey, what she has done, and how she has come about being who she is today. But before we do that, I'd like to introduce IIU to you. IIU is International Internship University. It's a leading virtual university, a virtual education system, and global brand confederation, which is the most valuable and trusted worldwide and well reputed in delivering innovative programs. Globally, it is a trusted name for quality training programs and is committed to providing better and virtual education to all the young learners of the globe. In a short span of time, IIU has spread its wings in 195 countries and 6 continents. You agree with me that that's a great success, and that shows intentionality. And this has been achieved under the strong leadership of its visionary founder, Mr. Piyush Pandit, sir. A committed and inspiring social activist, a passionate educationist from the last 2 decades, providing education to students from various social and cultural backgrounds. So this show we are having today has been made possible because of IIU, because of the passion of IIU to make sure that everyone gets quality education. And then we bring on people from this different sphere of life to come and share their journey with us, so that we'll also be able to learn from them. So today again, the host that we have is Mrs. Annie. Annie is a successful mentor who cares about young people, their educational needs, and their future career path. She studied agricultural science education at the University of Benin and holds master's degrees in industrial labor relations and guidance and counseling from the University of Lagos. She has facilitated trainings and delivered talks on healthy living to groups of people, both young and old. She believes that young people should be allowed to maximize their potential in order to live a positive and fulfilling life. She has a track record of working with young people, both professionally as an academic guide and as a moral guide in her home church and community. She currently runs her own home improvement company while also working as a part-time youth and teen trainer. So, Mrs. Annie, you're welcome once again.
Thank you very much, Sola. It's my pleasure to be here, and I'm very honored to be here.
Okay, so I've seen that you've really done so much for yourself, and this is something that we want to, tap from today. So I'll be asking you a couple of questions, and I believe your answers will shed more light to how you've been able to achieve this success in your life. So can you tell us more about your background and how you became a mentor for young people?
All right. I'll go straight into my background. Growing up for me, as a child, I grew up being brought up by my mom. My mom was a single mom. She brought us up as a single mother with 4 children, and she was very resilient in bringing us up. We didn't have like I wouldn't say we had like an absentee dad, no, but because of certain issues, we were brought up singly. And she brought up with such resilience. My mom being an educationist herself, she was a teacher with Lagos State, and she taught us good values when it came to education, when it came to being the right fit for what you were doing. And as we grew up, my real start with mentorship came from the church we attended when we were younger. That's in Lagos, Nigeria, Surulere Baptist Church. It was a church that shaped me because attending this church, I had a lot of people that mentored me. Mentorship there was in various ways, because when you talk about mentorship, you don't just have mentorship in a single area. I mean, you have mentors that mentor you in different ways and in different areas. There's some that could mentor you spiritually. There's some that they are your academic mentors. There are some that are your career mentors. There's some that help to keep you emotionally stable. And I had all of that growing up in my home church. And this birthed in me the desire to also want to pass on what was given to me as a child. And then another thing that inspired me to be a mentor was going through the university. I didn't have the how do I put it? Will I say like a Cinderella academic story? Let me put it that way. I didn't have that kind of very smooth journey. I had difficulties along the way, and I was able to surmount those difficulties at the end of it. So this gave me the desire. It allowed me to want to. I mean, every time I saw a young person, I had this desire to want to lead you to achieve the best possible. I mean, to maximize the potential you had, to let you understand that even if things were not exactly the way you wanted them to be, you could actually surmount those challenges and come out very successful at the end of the day. You could actually be the best version of yourself, no matter the hurdles you had to cross. So I think those were the things that really shaped me, part of my background, that made me get interested in being a mentor.
Okay, that's a fantastic story, and I quite agree the passion behind all of these things, and I can see that you're doing very well already. So it's all about the passion for me, and your journey is quite an interesting one. Okay, so now we've talked about your background and how the reason why you chose to mentor young people, and I understand. But what inspired you to pursue agricultural science education as your undergraduate degree? Because if you look at it now, you have passion for mentoring young adults. While in school, you actually studied agricultural science education. So what informs your decision?
Okay. You want a sincere answer?
Yeah, of course.
You want a sincere answer. When it came to my course of study, agricultural science education, I would tell you there was absolutely no inspiration to study as a then. That's the sincere answer. I just happened to it just happened that at that period in time, I had the papers I needed as at then, and I had my JAMB, because that's what we use in getting into school. And at that point in time, was young, and we all wanted to get into school. Agricultural science education wasn't actually the course I had planned out to read, or sometimes, like, I would say, the course that your parents and other people, and invariably you just get into the flow and you think what everybody thinks is right for you is what you should read. That was not exactly what I actually planned to read. And even when I was given the course, I was like, God, why agricultural science education? I wasn't really into it. But, I'm really grateful that I actually read that course, because when you talk about agricultural science education, what most people, or any education course at all, it exposes you to the world of teaching. At the end of the day, it exposes you to the world of teaching. It exposes you to a possible, and I'll say that possibly influenced my desire to mentor, because at the end of the day, apart from the science part of my course, I began to understand the educational part. I was exposed to teaching young people when we had to do things like teaching practice. I was exposed to teaching young people, and most of the people that we taught were of secondary school age. So I would say there was no inspiration from the beginning, but at the end of the day, it became something that I loved doing, especially because I combined it with education.
that makes a lot of sense. That makes a lot of sense. You know, most of us that are educators, it doesn't matter what we've studied in school, the passion is there, it's just there. We are all out to ensure that these young adults or the children in our care, they get the best form of education, especially the kind we do not have. Thank you very much for that, your enlightenment. I will still go to ask again about your academics, because in your undergraduate year, you studied agricultural science education, and then you went again, you know, to study industrial labor relations and guidance and counseling and all that. So I want to ask, how did your experiences studying industrial labor relations and guidance and counseling contribute to your career as a mentor?
Okay. I have my master's degree was in industrial relations and personnel management. Most of the time now, people like to call it industrial. Nowadays we call it labor relations and human resource management. That's what we call it now, because we have gravitated from the usual former personnel management to human resource management now. And then I had a master's also in guidance and counseling. The two master's degree programs have some things in common. They have some things in common, but I'd like to draw two major things that I think they have in common. One is the deal with humans and human interaction. And then the second thing is that they have to do with a form of guidance. There's a form of guidance in both of them to achieve, that's a form of guiding humans in both of them to be able to achieve a goal. In the former one, that's the human resource, it's to achieve, you guide the humans within an organization to achieve an organizational goal, to give the organization a competitive edge by guiding them, by training them, by making them better people. In the process, they make themselves better. And because you have people that are better, and you know that the best resource of any place is its human resource, because the humans are better, the organization will be better for it. Then when you talk about guidance and counseling, you're talking about guiding individuals to be able to achieve their full potential at the end of the day. You guide them to achieve their full potential. And when you talk of mentoring, when you're mentoring a person, you're mentoring somebody, you're mentoring the person because you're probably more experienced, maybe career-wise, maybe academically wise. You're mentoring the person, and the reason you're mentoring the person is you want the person to achieve full potential. You want the person to be able to use, the potentials, whether he recognizes it or he doesn't. It's your duty as a mentor to make the person, to guide the person to recognizing it. So you can see that those two courses have to do with interaction and guidance, and the principles that I learned from them also helped me when it came to mentoring individuals, as in understanding that my role as a mentor was not to control you. My role as a mentor is not to enforce things on you, but my role is to guide you to actualize your dreams, to make you see yourself, your potentials, to see what you can do and actualize your dreams. So that's how studying both courses helped me as a mentor. It exposed me to being able to guide people properly.
Well, Hani, you've really done well for yourself, because it's obvious everything you've been talking about as emanated from a particular passion. So it doesn't even matter where you are, you always find the energy back to your passion, especially now that we've talked about international industrial labor relations. You see the way you've been able to drive it back to talking about individual. It makes a lot of sense. It's when you don't have passion, when you don't have what you are working to achieve, you cannot even understand all of this. So I can say for a fact that you are doing so well. You are really doing well, and then we really appreciate you. I am enjoying this conversation. And I'm sure that every other people too listening or watching now will enjoy. If you had not explained, everybody will be like, how can a mentor, agricultural science education, industrial labor relations, guidance and counseling, what is the correlation? You know the way people can be, but look at the way you have taken your time to explain it. It's a pointer to the fact that you know your onions, you know what you want, and you go all out to get it. I am very proud of that. Thank you so much. Okay, so I'll go on again to ask you, can you please describe some of the training sections? You know, when I was reading your biography, we talked about the fact that you facilitated some training section on healthy living and all that. So can you please describe some of the training section you facilitated on healthy living?
Okay. I'll start with there was a training I facilitated on the importance of hygiene. It was to a group of secondary school students where I went to intern. That was in Lagos, Nigeria. It was a public school. We were there for I was there for a period of about 2 to 3 months, and I facilitated a session with both the male and the female students, but the emphasis was on the female students a lot because of the hygiene-related issues when it comes to issues of they were students in they were in senior class, I think, they were in SS1, and they know a lot of them at that age. That's like the onset of the menstrual period and everything. So the talk was on helping them to how they should be able to take care of themselves hygienically in ways that they wouldn't end up having to cause diseases to themselves, how you clean up hygienically, and then generally about general hygiene, how you take care of yourself, and the things you do to stay healthy and all that. That was one training that I really remember facilitating, and I really enjoyed it because you know, when you're facilitating training, especially with younger children and especially the teens, I really enjoy their sessions because you bounce off a lot on each other. You learn from them, they learn from you. The kind of questions they ask, sometimes you are like, wow. And then it's usually not just a teaching session. You're not just like, oh, you're the one passing the knowledge to them. They are actually also passing knowledge to you. That was one. Then another one I remember was I facilitated a training that was my home church. It was on the importance of sleep. We were able to see at the end of the training that a lot of us actually, especially in the city I live in, Nigeria, Lagos, we are, I don't know how to put it, but a lot of us we don't get enough sleep, and it has become it almost we had to demystify the myth that a lot of them had that when you sleep, because I mean a lot of times you get so many motivational speakers that tell you that you need to when you know you want to make money, you don't sleep 3 hours, and you don't sleep too much. You need to sleep 4 hours, and if you're sleeping 4 hours in a day, then you're lazy, you're not prepared to make money. We have to demystify these things for them to understand that, look, your body needs this amount of sleep for you to be able to function properly. I mean, I'm not saying there are no humans that don't function with very little sleep, but that number in the whole population of this world, I'm telling you, it's not really significant. A lot of people need their sleep, and we talked about it, and the attendant diseases you could get from not getting enough sleep. So those are 2 training sessions on health that I vividly would remember because they made a very lasting impression on me.
Okay, thank you once again. Thank you. I really do appreciate your sincere response, and you have actually nailed it. You see, they'll tell you for you to be successful, you don't sleep at night. Successful men don't sleep at night and all that, all those stories. And at the end of the day, you are stressed out, you have migraines, you have, it's quite a thing. It's quite a thing because it's common now. And then young adults need to understand that some of these things are not, even if you want to stay up sometime, it shouldn't be that you should not sleep. You should give yourself that rest. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think I'll be timing you now, because if I just allow you, someone that has experience and is just bubbling, you just want to give it all out. So let's just be quick, because I have a couple of questions here that I've not asked. So what advice do you have for young people who are trying to discover their passions and career paths?
Okay. My advice for young people, we're timing. So my advice for them would be very simple. I'll just major on 3 things that I think every young person who is trying to pursue their passion should really take note of. Number one is you should be self-aware. Know yourself, who you are. And when you talk about self-awareness as a young person, what are your strengths and what are your weaknesses? What are you strong in? Where is that? What is that thing you like? And what is that thing you know that you cannot like? In fact, for everybody on earth, I think the first step to realizing where you want to go to is when you are self-aware. You're aware of who you are, you're aware of what you are, and you're aware of what you can do and what you cannot do. So for a young person to be able to trace his or her career path successfully, you must first be self-aware. You should know what your strengths are and what your weaknesses are. Then another thing is, when you have chosen a career path as a young person that you know you are good in, something that you're good in, you should research information around that. I mean, you should be interested. For instance, I want to be a medical doctor. You should be interested at an early stage. What are the subjects I need to know? What do I need to be good in? What do I need to, how do I put it? What do I need to increase my efforts in? What do I need to really study to be able to achieve this? Then another thing, the third thing is, I always would recommend that young people, when they have the time, they should attend things like career fairs, job fairs. And I also very much, I'm also of the opinion, I believe very much in the fact that a young person should intern when they can. You understand? When you're on holiday, you should intern. It gives you a lot of experience. By the time you, I wish I had a lot of that opportunity when I was younger, but I've seen people do it and I've seen the kind of opportunities given to a lot of them. It makes them very knowledgeable. When you intern, when you are off school, you shouldn't use that period when you're not in school to maybe play around and everything. Do an internship. It may be paid, it may not be paid, but do it to get experience, especially in that field that you like. It will help you. So I think those 3 things are things that I would like to point out.
I actually appreciate that internship aspect that you've mentioned, because it's a way to assist those young people. I mean, when you get them early, they don't just believe that all these things are rocket science. They need to know that it's not. You have to be this before you can, and it shapes their mind, and it helps them develop. It narrows down what they want to do. It helps them stay focused at the end of the day. So thank you. Okay, so I would like to ask you again, how do you stay up to date? There are trends here and there. I mean, you're dealing with teens.
Yes.
So there's so many things going on out there that things need to get a good understanding of, and if they are left alone, it will not be good. So now that you mentor them, how do you stay up to date with the latest trends and issues affecting young people today?
Okay. I'll start with my first source of information before anyway is usually my children. I have one teenager and I have one preteen, and I try to I try to get very close. I am close to them. So, I mean, we sometimes we talk. A lot of times when schoolwork is not in the way, there's no assignment and everything is free, we talk. And when we talk, we don't talk. There are times when we shift totally from academics and we talk social straight up. And from there, I get a lot of latest stuff that I don't even know, that they know, and they can explain to you what this means, what is happening and everything. Then another very good source of information usually is the media. The media, social media, it's a source where you get most of the things that trend among young people, you can't mentor young people without, in the world we are today, the world we are today is like social media kind of thing. You can't mentor young people now without being social media savvy, without knowing what is happening in the world around you. It would be really difficult for you to be able to mentor young people. Then another source of information for me that I think a lot of us don't really take note of, and the importance cannot be overemphasized. These are actually PTA meetings, but people sometimes just don't attend. But I have always made a conscious effort to make sure that even if I don't attend, at least I attend 1 or 2 PTA meetings, in a year. And the reason I mention PTA meetings is that you would be shocked as a parent that there are things that your children's teachers and their supervisors in school know and see among these children, trends that you as the parents do not know about, that they know because they are with these children, especially kids that are in the boarding school and even the ones that are in day school. So coming to their teachers association meeting is a very viable way of getting to know trends. Then another thing is the teenagers I mentor, the ones in my home church and everything, talking with them on a regular, communicating with them, asking them things, and then getting really into the mold of what's happening in their lives would give you information about what goes on. You can't sit down in your own should I say adult world, and you would know exactly what is going on in their world. So those are some of the ways I get to know all these things. Yeah.
I have never seen any reason to not agree with you today, because especially the one you talk about, if you're dealing with things, you need to be social media savvy. Because I'm a digital citizenship evangelist, so I know the trend. I know some of these things that if you're not intentional about it, these children, these things, no matter how bright you might feel you are, they will just throw you out. You won't know. You'll be there, and they will do all manner of things. So, so you have to be like them to understand them, what their paths, know what they're listening to, what they hear, what they believe, what they feel is right, before you'll be able to pass the message appropriately. And some of them are quite funny. If you're just talking from abstract, it will be like, you don't understand. But I understand what you understand. And I'm telling you, I'm showing you. So I agree with you. I agree with you. Perfect. Perfect. I'll ask you this question, although one ask you everything now, and then that's it because of our time. Now, the first one is, how do you see your work as a mentor evolving in the future? How do you see yourself as a mentor? Obviously, you've not mentored me before, but now I can see that I can entrust I have a teenager into your care, and I believe you just do well. So, but we cannot continue to dwell on today. I mean, we are on Successful Living Show. So how do you see yourself evolving in the future? Right, that's one. And so what advice do you also have for people that want to mentor teens? That's 2 in 1. Then the last one is that what advice do you have for parents generally? Because every parent, even if you don't have a teenager now, if your child, you have toddlers or they are still young, they are going to get to that stage and they always act up. So those are the questions, and then we call it a day.
Okay, I'll start from where I see myself evolving as a mentor. Well, there would always be teenagers who would, there would always be teenagers who would always need guidance. And I don't know whether to say unfortunately or fortunately, they cannot get this guidance all the time from their parents or their teachers. Some people, even we as adults, we need mentors. At every point in your life, you need to talk to somebody to be able to move forward. No man is an island. So because of this, and especially because of the, how do I put it, the very sensitive time of life that teenagers are in, there would always be need for people to mentor them. So I see myself in the future, this work evolving in the future. I see myself mentoring more teenagers. I see myself open to collaborations, especially from NGOs and from bodies that are very much interested in young people, to bring them up, to mentor them, because a lot of them are actually working. I don't know how to say it. A lot of them are working without guidance, and there are so many things that we have nowadays, especially in our world. Our parents are very, very busy. And then because sometimes of the kind of relationship that some parents have built with their children, the children cannot totally but the children cannot totally talk to them about certain type of things, you understand? And because of that, mentors would always come in. Children would always need guidance. So I see myself working with people, with NGOs, with other bodies that are really interested in bringing up children to achieve their utmost potential, because it's always a passion for me, and it's always a pleasure for me when I can help a young child. Even if it's a little thing, as much as you don't get to study well, how can I help you study more? And I am able to do something and contribute to it, and at the end of the day, you are studying well. Something as simple as that gives me joy. So I'm looking forward to working with like individuals that have like passion to, continue to really make the message, as in make the message move, and make our teenagers, make the world more positive for our teenagers, so that they don't run and think of negative vices. They should always know that there are people who care about them and care about how they can advance in career, emotionally, in every aspect of their life. So that's how I see myself evolving. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Annie. It's been a wonderful time with you today. I must confess, you've really nailed it. And we are proud of your success. We also believe that what you have in you is way beyond what you've been able to express. Okay. And then we pray that the world will have more people like you to make the world a better place. Thank you very much for your time on behalf of IIU, on behalf of America, and then my country director, Nigeria. We say thank you for coming on our show today.
Thank you.
Thank you to all our viewers. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. All right.